Shapfere Bafetu. We're back once again to the most popping podcast. It's the Culture Decoded podcast. And I'm excited because we're joined by someone, we're joined by a guest. We'll just let him introduce himself for a bit, and then we do the honors as usual, and then we get to it.
Okay, my name is Sherman Dlovu. For those that are on social media, just Oncle Peng Peng.
Uncle Peng Peng.
Yeah, Uncle Peng Peng.
Is it auntie or uncle?
It's Uncle Peng Peng, but with an O.
Sweet. Okay. So yes, like I said, we're back once again to the most popular podcast. It's the Culture Decoded podcast. I go by the name of Prince, Brint to the Z, and Petu Fish, Umchitawam as usual. Away. So yes, today there's been an issue which was trending, social media and everything. It was an interview which was done by Enzo Ishall. What happened is he went to Star FM and he had an interview with KVG, a DJ called KVG, and then he was saying he wants to quit music. So the thing was that he wants to quit music, and there was a lot of issues as to why he wants to quit music. Some people were saying it's because of interest, the financial, and it was like that. But from my understanding, Umchita was like, music is taking a lot away from him. So it was stressing him, like maybe the expectations that he has about the music and what's not, and what he's getting. So it has got a lot to do with mental health issues. So we thought maybe let's talk about mental health issues, especially for Amachita. So Tina will only talk about mental health mainly from a perspective of Amachita. So Machins, I don't know what you think. Do you think it's something that people still are not yet coming to grips with it? Or would like umuntu can actually be stressed to a point where he can no longer work on whatever that he wants to work on?
I don't have a guess. I'll go last. I'll go last. Okay. Personally, I think my expectations for a man are always high. And since a man is usually the leader of a family, they are sort of regarded as a warrior in some sense. So that means they are always expected to be immortal in some sense, which puts a pressure on us. Like us, I'm saying men. And it's something that needs really to be addressed, because if we don't address such situations, that's how we end up falling for a pressure yakon. And it's hard for me to go to the next guy and say, hey, look, my guy, I'm feeling, and share my emotional traumas. Because I'm regarded as umuntu strong, and if I do that, I'm sort of going to be regarded as a weaker man than the next person. So I think there really needs to be I don't know if there are programs or whatever that have to address situations for men. Everyone is always looking out for women and children, but then we go through that equal emotional trauma, and if it's not dealt with, it will deal with us in the near future,
Facts.
So yeah.
So what are your thoughts with Fish? Like, what do you think about this thing? Or maybe with what two Shems I said, what do you think? Like,
I was born,
right.
I was born,
I
was born. Because into ngicabangayo mina ukuthi into lana ukuthi you gotta be a man. Just sikhuluma ngayo le Shems like if anything goes wrong emjiteni like sichile singamajita, and then into encane, let's say iphone if when I check ecava uthi njani kumele upush ispan ngefoni amajita and the end uthi grab your man yabona nje wena uhlukumezekile phakathi kwakho busy grab your man ulimala idolo
Gotta be a man.
You gotta be a man. And Ucheri akuyala. You gotta be a man.
Yeah.
Umntana kafi. You gotta be a man.
Yeah.
And ubhuti wakho afi mbubani bani afi. You gotta be a man.
Exactly.
So khona kyana ngibone ngathi at the end of the day sigcina lathi si ignore ukudila lama issues ethu as amadoda.
Facts.
In the name of I gotta be a man.
You gotta be a man. Exactly.
True.
So uma ngasadila ngalama emotions zakho kumbe lento okuhluphayo. Then into nelana ayisuki.
Okay.
Imbodlela yakho ephakathi yazigcwala and ingagcwala lapho udubuka khona uyafa nje emuva.
Facts bro.
Alimala check.
Alimala and ungakhala futhi. Gotta be a man.
You can't
cry. Check
Indoda ekhaya. Batsho njalo. Check indoda
ekhaya.
No. In into ezinje yabona crying and crying lets out a lot of bad aura leyani yabi phakathi and you wait
you lose the weight
uba light after crying
but now ungekela ukukhala manje like fish said lapho uza explode khona and it's unfortunate usually when you explode where you're not supposed to explode. By that I mean maybe abulo muntu that you really like so much, someone that you are building a future with, maybe perhaps
like love.
And by the time you explode,
you're
going to let out everything on the end.
So do you mean like in terms of who explode negatively, like we're going to explode ukhuluma explode ukhala or explode negatively, so cheating or something like that?
All right. By this, I'm talking about exploder negatively.
All right.
Why? Because I don't think. Well, this is my personal, thinking. I don't think you can explode positively.
Yeah.
You can let out positively, but then you can't let out everything go on. So that like we were saying before, if we can address these situations, if you can talk to your friends, if you have friends that understand, and I can tell you, no, Prince, look, I'm feeling this kind of way. When I also don't undermine my feelings, because affect for fact. You and I, you don't know how I'm feeling. I mean, I'm coming to you and I'm trying to confide in you. You know, Prince is one. Even if I come,
ngokubuza khona ungakayikhashana nxa ufika emjideni ungumjida uzubuhlungu like big time lathi singamajida uprepare njani uzwa njani ukuthi ngiyetshela amajida imfila so into ifila leyana ufika njani emajideni nje what are you going through ukuthi uzuthi all right, now I'm talking to amajida ebusuyenzeni compare ezumjida.
Mina how I usually do it is I know amajida, each and every friend I have, I know emotional disposition yabo, like who tumjida low, this type of issues who I so most of the times, unless if I'm exploding, but usually I just tell abantu one by one. Like I know abangadbama, I know my friends. So see, lomjida long and is more likely to respond ngalendlela. Ngangela ma problems labo cherry, I know the type of guy to talk to. Ngala ma problems edin, I know the type of guy to talk. Because I think as amachita we don't have that thing. You would like ama group talks etu. It's always about check the skip, I bore about fast, but not. We haven't yet evolved to a place whereby we can talk about into serious. Like if in a machine, low riding, I'll change my chance to Chiramun. I feel suicidal. We can't even do a group hug.
I know what I'm
saying. Instead, I'm actually down with you.
But you know what? Comparing my own thing, Konoko Kunyang Shens with you undermine my feelings. To me, maybe it's so serious. Like, yeah, it's but then when there's a machine, there is something to laugh about. But me, I'm picture having too much. So
that's true. True.
Wankazana, sebesili thanda. Bayahleka but mina serious, right?
That means serious.
Ama-feelings ami yawo. Sengitshela lina la sebesili thanda. Siyalithanda.
Yabo.
Kuyasilimaza.
That's pertaining to, I think, from history, amadoda we hunters, so all we had to know was the rules of the jungle. So in the jungle, you had to be an animal too for you to hunt animals. Whilst women evolved emotionally because they did this, they were built like his the social was their forte.
Yes.
Like how kulisabantwana, building the family, those things. In the jungle, kill. Jungle war, yabona. So very from history as men, we never hate our emotions to evolve. Like how do you express them? How do you get in touch with yourself?
Mpino feel good checking me.
Gotta be a man.
Gotta be a man. So I think that's the thing.
Okay. I like your point about raising kids. Right? I'm just going to integrate konoko ubujita and kids. I wanna, when you don't deal with your emotional troubles, and like I said, it will affect you either in the near future or in the farther future. But it will affect you.
It will.
And it's unfortunate when you don't deal with them. This is how you end up building a broken home.
Facts.
Because when awuhlalisekanga njengomuntu, sorry, technical difficulties. Okay, so I was saying, if you don't deal with your problems in the right time, within the respected time that you're supposed to deal with, in the near future or farther future, it's going to affect you. And it's going to affect the people most dearest to you.
Facts.
And this is how, like I said, you end up building homes, but then they break easily because all the time, I'm going to see my child. You're thinking, udala, something happened to me, and you're always like battling things in your head. And that is such a magnificent trouble. Dealing with something in your head, because ingondo is something that's,
exactly.
And you always have a weight in you.
Facts.
So guys, let's talk to our friends. Know the type of person that you're going to mausia kuluminto zako. Like Prince said. Because if you go to someone that will undermine your emotions, you're going to think everyone does not listen.
Does not affect.
Indeed. Uedila ku point yakho le family ezamadoda silento lana yokuthi let's say mina ubaba bami ebenhlupha unhluphe kumbe ebengahluphi mina
behlupha like family
seze behlupha masalo behlupha umebras umbe usisters in intwana lana jeki abantwana siyabadelela sebe sizitshela ukuthi mncane lo akezwa mncane lo akaboni umncane but ungakhula nje you be messed up ekhanda nje
facts
messed up big time
facts
because wena ubone ubaba bakho ekutreata njalo abona lese isukhulile silabo 25 ma usukhanyela back in your life ubonthi into lezi adengiziyenza into le being affectwa yilokho zeni that's it. Right, I mean, I want to be a better father. And you're not dealing with what happened. You're now trying to counter my emotions by creating a family, then trying to be a better father. But you're not dealing with the emotions.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, ungayenza a mistake a1 emntwaneni. Kumbe in vele kono kama broken homes. Broken homes ungakhayela is either alright, sorry, kwabesimami. I broken home I breakwanga ku home yona.
No. Not.
You say that you went in very broken.
Fact.
Kumbe one of you is broken.
Fact.
Yabona, and as amachita ungahamba nje ulimele awula nto zayilungisa avela kula home ezabakhona.
Exactly.
They will foster nje izinto. And that's why njani ama homes break. So as amachita make sure ukuthi as we grow we face our demons and talk to the right people ukuthi sibe yiswi ukuthi sinike abafazi bethu labantu bethu a better life, a better home.
Fact. And you know what you're touching upon is actually important, because like I feel like as amachita, even in my relationships, before we get to a stage whereby we are building a home, even as a relationship is starting, I think we leave out the responsibility of emotional wave or frequency relationship. We leave it to Ucher. Ucher is the one who is supposed to start to be vulnerable to you. So when true. Have you realized that? Have you realized that when you're starting Nkuluma Cherry talk, she's the one who starts telling you, stress to when you don't do that. But now the problem is that as long as we continue doing that, our relationships say too, the emotional whatever will always follow the women. They will always lead, but at the end of the day, I think we have to meet halfway. And we can only do that when we start getting in touch with our own emotions as a machita and allowing ourselves to be vulnerable to which, even when you're starting out, if you have a problem, you can tell that woman, which I know, this is what is happening. Sometimes even it's financial talk, you can't even tell her within Chombile because you seem weak.
But why singakwanisa ukukhuluma?
I think it's konogano to develop.
It's become a social norm.
Exactly.
Why singakwanisa ukutshela abantu bethu ukuthi I'm broke. Kumbe nendlina ayikho right. Into esikhuluma ngayo kumele sikwanise ukukwenza.
That's the
why singakwanisi machite libukele let's balance this mfowethu. Kungani singakwanisi ukukhuluma into ezinje because iqiniso elihle. Alright, manje ngingathi iqiniso elihle. Angazi
iqiniso elakho.
Iqiniso but mbona ngathi when it comes to women, Cherry, they want to see our, I don't want to say weak side. Vulnerable, yes, that's the word. Hey, SQ off it, Bafuna ukubona i vulnerable side. Lomchita. Yabona. But Tina, because you gotta be a man,
you gotta fight.
You gotta fight. You gotta fight
all the time. Nah.
Tina machita mase ngitshela uCherry into ezinjalo. Amfuna ukuthi uCherry embone as if I'm weak.
Exactly.
Because I can't deal with things.
But you know what?
We are meant to deal with things.
Maybe that of course the problem, but maybe sometimes the women themselves, they need to get to a point whereby they open up the space so you can be actually vulnerable to me. Because when such you become vulnerable to someone and they show you signs they see you as weak for that, what then do you do?
Right. That point. That is so good. All right. I don't know. I'm obviously not a woman, but I think Uguti, you don't give space for your women to what am I saying? You don't give your women a sign you're going to know you can be vulnerable to me. They just are.
Okay.
And so it's not the woman's fault that we are not showing our vulnerability.
Okay.
It's our fault. Why? Because by right, when you're in a relationship, you are for each other. And meaning if the woman is vulnerable to you, so can you be to her.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's not on the women, it's on us. How
continue.
How like you said, how we are raised. And Uguti, even the smallest problem olayo mentally, you can't share.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't share because sebasifundisa ukuthi mntanami nxa uyindoda into ezinje so you know. So it's definitely not on the women. I feel we as men in our homes mele besifundise khonoko. You know how they say charity begins at home.
Exactly.
If your dad allows you to be vulnerable to him,
exactly,
it will be easy for you to be vulnerable to anyone because our timer
are
the hardest people to be vulnerable to.
Fam.
Ukhuluma usithi the time la.
Eqala le stress.
Uyahluleka lokuthi mdala. Because jeje ukhawukela abantu abanye abaphandle nxa sithi mdala. Awukhulume but I can't say mdala to my dad.
You can't.
Because
you can't.
But you need that.
we need that. I need to foot like with my understanding is that the world is changing, right? It's evolving. So back then, Abatalabet, they some tools that they needed for them to sort of like get past and live and conquer their environment and everything. Now there's those tools. They can be physical tools, like what they needed, some tools and technological tools, right? And that our technological tools enable us to sort of like win in today's environment, whatever. But also there is some interpersonal tools that they needed to survive back then that we might no longer need. There's some new tools that we need, Tina, to to survive in this world and get further in this world. So these are some of the tools. We like this world. It has evolved to a place whereby you need to have those emotional tools, that emotional intelligence, to be able to express yourself, to be able to talk with the conviction and say, okay, this is my beliefs, this is what I think, or this is what I feel, this is this and that and whatnot, So I think it's a matter of as much as we can, like you're saying, we must be able to and extract the tools that they had for their own world, but they must also try and teach us as much as they can for the new world.
Right. Mina ndombuzo.
Yeah.
Yini babuyeli lani machita.
Yeah.
Do you think we are insecure as men? Babugeli. Do you think we're insecure as men?
Comment section.
As Uncle Peng Peng.
In what aspect is she? What is insecure in what aspect?
As men in J, do you think we're insecure? In every aspect.
But I feel like insecurity comes in when there is something to be secure, to protect. So in what aspect? That's why I'm also like, what is...
When a ma ungatsheli anyone umtshelayo, what are you protecting?
My ego, maybe.
So you're insecure.
So, yeah, I am. Yeah, makes sense.
It's a question.
So it pride the ego yet, which means is what?
Is it because ikesa kufundiswayo? Kumbe lawe as Indoda uyazifundile emahlahleni ukuthi I can fight.
Gotta be a man, though. Gotta be a man.
What do you think, Jane? What do you think?
Insecurity.
I think comment section, you have to help us.
Yeah.
But hey, okay. I think to some extent, our insecurities have to be there. Okay, as I was saying, insecurities, I think every man has to a greater extent, because you need to protect your ego.
Yeah.
You need to swallow your pride, but protect your ego. Because when I feel everything just needs protection, guys. That's why even the heart has a rib, guys. Even the heart has a rib cage, guys. For a reason. For a reason, guys.
Yeah,
so we need to share, but also you need to be careful with how you share, because bakhona abantu abazastay behind my chins.
Bakhona
abafuna khonokho ukuthi right. Once you are just, behlebe.
Ngobuza. Are you able to cry in front of your woman?
And I've only cried once, but
in front of a girl.
Never again.
Like in front of a girl, like maybe Cheromtanda, see the konoka switcher where you are sharing issues that you have. Or can you cry? Because first, when maybe like if you hate you or something, she'll cry.
But Meles Kali.
Meles Kali, guys. Let's cry.
We are Kala Pam Gomfaz. Is that right?
Yeah, can you? Yeah, we're going to Kala
and Pam Gomfaz. Yeah. And they know me Guti. Meles Kali.
My advice to you, gentlemen, is cry.
Yeah.
Cry.
Cry.
I mean, I've cried in front of a girl.
Sometimes, Jackie Kalogule swag. Jackie Pongut.
I think ngangimhaka dog like ngokuyi fight ngamhaka then ngakhala dog like but then yeah but like I cried like wangizwa suthi voice yami sina umafuthu so sengikhala
khonokho ngokusenze singakhali nje
but it's okay
ukuthi uzukhala uzumuthi no
beliyakhala
ejare leo zephinda kumntwana la esengingcuze
but you cried though when have you ever cried for sure ulaye or for her phambi God
hayi
you are the man gotta be the man
gotta be man abengiqamba ma
yeah
no, you know what?
Sometimes
Sometimes they catch on to you. Ungawo expect. Like you said, when you were hugging, wabego.
Zabuya zotho.
Mina, in my case, it was after a really long relationship, 4+ years, and then it was time for university.
Fair.
Now you're what?
Yes,
but I didn't want to cry. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to miss you. Yes, I'm going to miss you.
Ezamuqina
though.
Bang. Umntwana says what? No, now let go of me. Mina no, because I didn't want to say I'm crying. You know? But I know, guys, let's catch on with our emotional state.
Yeah.
Let us be mentally fit. Let us be emotionally strong.
Facts.
But share out your voice out your opinions if it is voice out what you are feeling because guys depression, trauma, mental what it's not just for white people.
That's the
thing. Affect everyone. That's
amakwande asikuthi ngabantu abamnyama mathi wathi amakwande so the depression
it's real
ikhona
therapy guys therapy doesn't mean uthi go and sit with umdala kumbe ugogo ubusuqalisa umuntu ekucharge imali
Matthews
therapy guys is being able to share with umuntu that you feel can relate to the situation that you are going through.
Facts, bro.
So let us share our emotional traumas, guys.
Facts.
Like, indlela ilula ma ungela mthwalo. I don't know if it makes sense, but like Enzo, ufuna. I don't know if he's quitting or he's stopping until he's okay.
He said he's quitting.
He said he's quitting.
He said he's retiring.
He said he's retiring, yeah.
Because ubonile ukuthi music I'm healing.
Yeah.
I don't know if he thought ukuthi is a healer.
Yeah.
But he was just ignoring it. Angwazi. But engutsho ukuthi istep asithethe ngesokukhangela imental health yakhe lokuba nguye kwakhe nje ukuthi abe right zomuntu.
Facts.
But ungazama uqinisela uphushe ebudinda wanda. Because yakulokhu uzibuthi kari yini engimisileyo.
Exactly.
Yini engimisileyo. Yabona? Thola ukuthi awuthola ukuthi wafethu.
Yeah.
Khipana umthwalo la.
Facts.
Lahlani into lezi. Indlela ibe mnandi. Angeke uphakamise isamende uthi ufuna ukuphapha.
You can't.
True.
You can't stop.
Yabona? So imthwalo lesilayo yasihlupha bafethu kunzima nyali but let's try by all means ukuthi
facts
sibe grand.
And another thing that Umchita said like the people wanted Enzo Ishall. I gave them Enzo Ishall, but Kutanai is suffering. So Kutanai is his real name. So I think there's a thing you always have to put on a shell, a mask to say like people see you on the screen, you are happy, you are having fun and everything, but when I'm wako wetwa, you know, uthwele nzima. So that's what we do as a machita. But now and it doesn't have to be like that. So if we get to a point where we start talking, and then also people don't understand if you are doing something as a creative, every output that you put out like is dependent on how strong your mind is. Kufana nomuntu who works physically, if that body is sick, they can't work. So if you are a creative, if you are not well, always stress, you cannot create. So people cannot expect you to create while you are not going sharp. Abantu needs to start to treat mental health as umundo gula. Like imagine how you feel when you are sick physically. That's how it is when someone egula, you know. So when you say umuntu gula ingqondo abantu like uyahlanya, that's the stigma that comes with that. But sometimes you have ugula ingqondo yakho uthi ingqondo yakho ayikho sharp, not functioning well. So yeah,
Will Smith
wakhala ne? Yeah.
Aye, like I said. Cry. Bra Enzo.
Yeah.
Ayo, silawe, rinali wena, tinewe, share, bro.
Sonke Brazil. Sonke bafiti.
So, hey, we wanted this to be long. Actually, there's a lot to talk about, but maybe we'll do a part 2 sometime later or whatever. So, thanks once again for tuning in. Thank you for all the subscriptions, the comments, and the views. We are the Culture Decoded podcast with your boys, Prince. And we had a guest on the show,
Uncle Peng Peng.
And we're fish.
Oncle.
Yeah. So signing out, my gents. I think we try to do some justice.
Yeah. Can I say just one more thing?
Yeah.
My comment section bafethu ngokuthi khona okufilayo okuzwayo wena okuzwisa ubuhlungu. Feel free nje ukufaka istory sakho.
Yeah.
Just to let out.
Yeah.
Faka istory sakho ma comments.
Facts.
Offloadeni bafethu.
Facts.
Nxa ukuthi kunzima, nxa ukuthi uyabona ukuthi iseccle yakho yabangani. Akulo ngakhuluma laye. Then which means you have the wrong friends bafethu.
Facts.
Thinja abangani ebantwini abaright. Umngane we-1 so problem.
Facts.
It's fine.
But ungaba lo mngane we-1 umtshela yonke into is better than kuba labangani abayi-20 abalemali abakuphapafaza abakuphiza imota.
That you can tell.
Lokhana check it. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter, bro.
Sorry, guys, I know this is just sign out. Just one more thing.
Yeah.
Guys, it's not only us that are supposed to share. Wena njengomngani womuntu, reach out to your friend. Uthi, yo, bra, are you alright, fam?
Yeah.
Ukraine. Are you okay?
Where's the accent coming from? Man, sorry, guys. Man, sorry. In it.
Reach out to your friends, guys.
Yeah.
Find out how they're doing. You know, friends and family as well. This also applies to females as well. Just go, hey, Matem, are you okay?
Yeah.
Hey, Mama, are you okay?
Yeah.
Dad, brah, you okay?
Sisters.
Reach out to your friends. Yeah.
Facts.
Okay, now so we sound not.
Wewe charisma ngise sign out.
Peace.
Deuces.
Fight. Liebe Grand bafethu.
Liebe Grand.
Next time.
Next time bafethu.
Oh yeah.